All right, welcome everybody back, man. We are here for a Friday show, and we're finishing something we started. Oh, I didn't mean to click that button. Hopefully, that didn't do anything. Okay, we're here to finish something that we started. Let me make sure we sound good though. Let me check my audio settings, but I think we're good. Yeah, we should be good. But we started this, I think, like a week or two ago. They dropped some of the positional rankings on PFF, so we reacted to what they had so far, and today we're gonna finish. Today we're gonna wrap up all the ones that have recently dropped. So we're just gonna dive into and react to see what they have. Now I have already seen these. Okay, so this isn't just like a maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I looked at all of these. So I've seen all of the rankings of where they have, and these won't include every Lions player. If you haven't seen these before, it's like they basically rank the top, usually like 32 players by position. So some positions it's easier to get on that list, like center, because I mean, for every team, there's one starter. So typically, every starter is going to be on there. And some, I mean, I guess you could have a backup if he was a dog or if he got enough snaps. I mean, maybe they would throw him in as a backup, but that would be unfortunate if you were the starter that was left off. So some positions you don't get everybody on there. And you also could have two players from the same spot, like receiver for us. We looked at receiver last time. The Lions had St. Brown and Jameson both on that list. So somebody was not on that list as a starting receiver. We had two of those guys on there. So we're going to react to those today. I found a few interesting things when going through this. They also have their full roster rankings as well that they recently that they I guess they dropped this after they did all the positional rankings. The roster rankings, they love the Lions. I mean, the Lions came in third, so they love the Lions roster there. We don't have to spend much time with that. Most of it's not based on, but the comments they actually have on it, the descriptors they have are based on last year. So there's not really much to grab from that except for comparison. And we can do a little comparison, but this is in no particular order. I don't want to go over the same positional groups we talked about last time for time reasons. So let's jump right into this. Let's go through the positions that we haven't talked about yet. And the one that I want to start off with is cornerback, because cornerback to me was probably the biggest surprise. Now, remember, these are PFF rankings, so they're going to take their own grades, you would assume, heavily into account with these rankings. And it seemed like going through each of the rankings, they did put a lot of value in consistency. Like, okay, hey, have the last 2 years been good? If the last 2 years were good, or there's like a good foundation to grab on there, then maybe your last season could have been a little bit bumpy, right? It's not just taking like the recent year was great, so you're going to be here. Like, for example, Milton Williams, who I know PFF loves Milton Williams, but they had him, and you'll see this below Willie McNeil, though he grades out much better on last season. He also played a lot less snaps typically. Well, he plays less snaps because he's rotational. And then also last year was his breakout. So just based on last year, they would have had him above Lee McNeil, but they didn't, because it seems like they take a little bit more into account than that. But let me see if they actually had a descriptor for some of these. So for the cornerback rankings, they say the cornerback rankings are primarily influenced by the PFF advanced coverage grade. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about that advanced coverage grade that they have. I guess they've been doing this since 2019, which takes into account a player's standard PFF coverage grade, primarily influenced by plays where the defender was targeted. So now that's interesting, because diving into this, I didn't know that. So they're saying that, okay, you get these coverage grades. It's primarily influenced by when the ball is thrown towards that guy. So what does the result look like when the ball is thrown towards him? The explanation for what the advanced coverage grade was almost as simple as also the reps where he's not targeted. Like, what is he doing when he's not targeted? The separation allowed, would he been open? And then they're also saying they're taking into account the assignments the player had. So how difficult the assignment was, the coverage scheme that the player was thrown into to add value to, like, okay, well, was he responsible for that? So the advanced coverage grade adds a different element. And we actually have some examples that aren't just cornerback related, that they actually threw some graphics when they kind of explained what advanced coverage grade was, that also represented a couple of other players that were, one was on this list, one was on a list, one wasn't, that are at different positional groups that I think showcases how talented they are within what they do. So I want to show those as well. But to give some love to the advanced coverage grade, which apparently they're heavily relying on to put these together for cornerback, they say that since 2019, PFF has gathered comprehensive separation data for every snap played by coverage defenders and receivers in the NFL. This data set includes information on matchups, assignments, and separation. PFF has used this data to create a new metric, advanced coverage grade, which has advantages over traditional coverage grades and other metrics. So they go into some examples of that, and we're going to go through some of the examples, but I'll leave the explanation there. And this is where the first surprise was for me. The Lions have players on pretty much, I think they have them on every list, at least one. I think they have at least a player on every list, which is great. If you just take a PFF rankings, they're like, hey, this team's pretty darn good. It got a lot of good players. But at number at cornerback, they ended up having DJ Reed at number 6. That was the thumbnail. DJ Reed as a number. Let me move my camera a little bit. They have DJ Reed as the number 6 cornerback in the NFL. I was not expecting that. Okay, I saw that number. I was like, wait a minute, are they serious? They put him at 6. Now what made me feel good is immediately I saw that. Like we did our DJ Reed episode. I don't know how long ago that was. Maybe a couple weeks ago. And I think it was titled something like, hey, DJ Reed, best cornerback of the Brad Holmes era, potentially. And if you're just going by PFF, that would probably be very true. Very true to have him number 6. They say Reed has yet to become a household name at the position, despite excellent play for several seasons. His PFF advanced coverage grade over the past 2 years ranks 5th, while his 89.3 standard PFF coverage grade ranks 12th. I don't know why I said second. 12th. Reed has put together 6 straight seasons of earning 70-plus PFF overall grade, which, of course, takes in, I think they take into account pass rush, too, for cornerbacks as well. I think that's every position, but run defense also gets in there. They throw in tackling as well, so there's like little subcategories within that. But ultimately, when they're talking about their advanced coverage, which is, and this is why this made sense to me, when you understand the explanation of what they mean by advanced coverage, it makes sense why they would like him so much. And it also, to me, makes sense why he's not a household name. First off, he doesn't come up with a lot of interceptions. I think household names take the ball away. Remember when Trayvon Diggs cooked for Dallas? That dude was a household name very quickly. I feel like at least for NFL fans, that dude was pretty well known when he kept intercepting passes and taking them back to the house. And there would be some people that knock him. They're like, okay, but he's also giving up a lot of plays too. That didn't matter. The guy was going to take the football away, right? That got attention. That's not DJ Reed as much, right? That's not really DJ Reed's game. Actually, DJ Reed had 0 interceptions last season. 0 interceptions, a lot of 91 passer rating. He also, in that season, had 7 pass breakups. He also has some flags to his name as well. But that's not his thing, is taking the football away consistently. You could say some of that can be scheme related, which it definitely can be. Some of it to me is the skill set as well of the player. Some of it's also the size of the player. That's not like that's not where he's natural. It's like, hey, throw the ball up. DJ is going to take it away. Yeah, not really. But what he does do is he plasters routes like crazy. I mean, this is the type of piece that just like no airspace, no separation. So when you think about the advanced coverage grade and they're saying that like, hey, a lot of it has to do with like, would the receiver have been open based on the route that he was running? And then the coverage assignment that he was playing. If we know he's playing cover 3, say he's got a deep third on the outside, should that route have been open? It's like, okay, yeah, it should have. Now, how much separation did he allow based on that coverage that he was in, understanding his assignment? So when they take that into account, like it doesn't even matter if he's targeted and you're starting to get to that side of things. That's when you start to understand like, okay, I can see why they would love him here because he does take away a lot of airspace. That's kind of his game. And I think whether that's CJ Gardner-Johnson, we're going to see Brian Branch. Those guys had some similarities in that sense as well. As like they were going to try to plaster routes, take routes away. And that's where they love DJ Reed. And to give some perspective on where that ranks amongst others, that's 1 below Derek Stingley, which some think could be the best cornerback in football. And Stingley's awesome. They have Jalen Johnson at 4. They love Jalen Johnson. But again, their advanced metrics is where they ended up putting him higher because they said they're heavily leaning on that, which to Jalen Johnson, I'm not as big of a Jalen Johnson guy. But again, I do understand it. Now, there's different schematics to how he may play versus DJ Reed. There's different ways to play it. And if they're taking into account assignment, it doesn't necessarily mean that DJ Reed would be the 6th best corner for every team in football. I think that's the important thing to keep in mind here, too, is to separate the fact that, hey, if the guy is in a certain scheme defensively, he could play his assignment to a point where he's allowing not a lot of separation in reference to the scheme that he's actually playing. But that doesn't mean that's like, okay, that means he's a press man guy if he's high on that list. Like, not necessarily, okay? Jalen, really good off man, in my opinion. Very physical corner, hard to separate with at the top of the route. That's where he's a problem. So it can be different styles, right? So it doesn't mean it's like a universal, put him everywhere. That doesn't mean he can't play in different spots. I think he can, but just to throw that in there, like I think DJ Reed is very good in zone. I think he's very good in man. I think he's good in both spots, but just the way that you could ask him to play that. They still had Sauce at number 1, which was interesting. A lot of people kind of noted him for a down year this past year, but they still put him at number 1. So again, I think they're also, as mentioned, really putting a lot of value into what you did year over year, not just this past season. So DJ comes in at 6, and I actually have a couple of graphics that I want to throw here, and these aren't DJ Reed, but they're when they were explaining what advanced coverage was, they put together 2 graphics on Lions players. And I found them fascinating. The 2 graphics that they had on Lions players, just that kind of sorted out how well they actually would grade in these advanced metrics. So, like, first off here, it won't show up on BR. I apologize. I don't know what's going on, but I'll read it. So, first player they had here, they had both Brian Branch and they had Alex Anzalone. They listed both of these guys. So, first off, we're going to have Alex Anzalone. And you can see the blue dots. That means good for them all the way to the right. And as I mentioned, like, yeah, the further to the right, the more it's going to be kind of an elite value there. And then they ended up going to like percentile, like where he falls percentile amongst everybody else. And the two advanced stats that they're using, or not advanced, but they have like the separation grade. So how much space is he allowing? You can see that Alex Anzalone, in terms of their separation grade this past season, was elite. I mean, he was all the way at the end there. He was elite in terms of that percentile wise. And he's been that pretty much year over year over year over year. And then advanced coverage grade, again, taking into account assignment as well. He's been elite at least the past 2 seasons in that same metric as well. And then when you get to some of the more statistical valued stats, where it's just like numbers in terms of yards allowed per snap, that's where Alex is on the lower end. In terms of target rate, like getting targeted a high amount, that's where he's on the lower end as well. But the advanced stats and just taking guys away, they love him. Quarterback rating, that's below average. There's a below average quarterback rating, but those are just the basic stats, and we know those nowhere near tell the full story. Completion percentage allowed is slightly above average, but ultimately their advanced grades are like, we love Alex Anzalone. Alex, honestly, post this on your X account. I'm gonna be straight up with you, Alex. My man's been posting graphics. I don't know if he's posted these yet, but if you want to take these and post them, I understand it. I do. I could see it. All right, the other one they put is Brian Branch. They actually put both of these up here. They put Brian Branch as well because they said he's in a similar category. We know this is Branch, and he's doing this at slot and safety, which is incredible. But 2024, now he had some of the strong statistical value. The only low point for him was target rate, 12.3% was target rate. But outside of target rate, in terms of the 0 to 100 scale, they had him at about an 80. So we see that within their grades. But then their separation grade was near an elite grade. Their advanced coverage grade was near an elite grade over the past 2 seasons. So those two guys take away routes. Those guys are super valuable. Shout out to those guys. And they like both of those guys. But they didn't list Alex Anzalone. I'm going to spoil it. They didn't put Alex Anzalone in the top 32 for linebackers. And I'll discuss that one a little bit deeper. In terms of corners, that was it. It was just DJ Reed. Nobody else was listed for the Lions at corner. They're including Brian Branch as a safety, so that makes sense. Amik Robertson probably would have been the next guy with the best chance to be included, was Amik Robertson. They actually had a stat on Amik Robertson that's saying that he is targeted 22% of the time on money downs, or like the third or fourth downs. Like in those like crucial downs, he's been targeted 22% of the time. And they didn't say that he was necessarily great in those spots or necessarily bad in those spots. What comes to mind is like the great pass breakup he had where he got like on top of the Seattle receiver. I think it was Lockett. Like he jumped over his back and broke it up. That was awesome. But outside of that, they did say like this guy's targeted a lot in those big downs, and he's played inside and outside, but they didn't rank him within the top 32, which I think is understandable when you look at some of the names. Like at 28, they have Byron Murphy. That's a really good corner. And then the young guys, like those guys aren't going to get up there after last season. So DJ Reed at 6. They like guys that are going to limit separation. I assume they may really like our guys going forward, but we'll see. Okay, so that being said, let's move on to the next one. Again, no particular order here, but there's a few that I really want to make sure that we talk about. So let's go to the interior defensive line. This one's fascinating to me because this one really showcased that they didn't just base it on last season, which is cool. You know, take that however you want to. It showcased that they didn't, though. Wow, I got a lot of tabs pulled up here. Okay, did I do something wrong? Okay, no, we're good. We're good. I just got a lot of tabs pulled up. I didn't realize I had that many. Okay, well, hold up. Maybe I should close some of these. You know what? Let me close those real quick. There we go. Okay, so I can close them with one button. That's good. Interior defensive line rankings. If we go there next, Lions land 2 players on their interior defensive line rankings. And I also have some of the rankings from last year, too, so we can kind of compare those. But for interior defensive line rankings, the first player that comes in is Ali McNeil. They put Ali McNeil at 13 on the list. Around guys such as Milton Williams, who, as mentioned, he had the breakout season, got the massive deal with New England. And then you have Justin Madubuike, who's right above him for Baltimore. That makes sense. Even contract-wise, it makes sense that those two are kind of close to each other. Again, different styles. Vita Vea is at 11. That's not Ali McNeil, but different styles. And then at number 10, they have Christian Wilkins. I am not upset with this spot at all. They also had below him a couple of guys, and I'm like, I don't know. I would like, for example, Poona Ford. They like Poona Ford a lot. They grade him very highly. They had an 85.3 grade on him, 5th best among interior players. I think that's too high. Now, that's simply just based on what I watched this offseason free agency. I didn't like him that much. I didn't like as much as that grade represents. I would have Poona Ford nowhere near Lee McNeil personally. That said, though, they like him, so they have him up there. They also have Calais Campbell at 16, who's a nice player. He's kind of inside-outside, but we like Calais Campbell too, but they have him at 16. And then they go to like guys like Kobe Turner. So it's kind of a mess of players in here. And for Lee McNeil, they say McNeil's 0.56 PFF WAR over the past 3 seasons ranked 16th among interior defenders. So similar to where they ranked him. 70.6 PFF grade in 2024 was top 10 at the position. He recorded a PFF pass rush of 77 for the second year in a row. Now, we know he didn't play every snap, but it's interesting. If you look at Ali McNeil this past season, So last season, he ends up having 45 pressures on the year. 29 of those pressures came after Aiden Hutchinson was out for the season. So Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, he lit up Dallas. Everybody kind of did. He had like 7 pressures against Dallas. After that game, though, he racked up 29 pressures in total after Aiden Hutchinson was injured. And I throw that out there just to say, like, okay, who else was really giving us juice? And then Za'Darius came in the fold and he gave us juice. But outside of that, like, especially until Za'Darius got here, maybe not a lot. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. I mean, we know Davenport was injured early, but that's something to kind of keep in mind with this. The only argument that I would try to make, and I'm not like necessarily that like, oh, it has to be like this, but it's the only argument that I would legitimately make is I would make a case for him above Christian Wilkins. And again, that's based on what I've seen. I'm not as high on Christian Wilkins, but I think he's a very good player. Christian Wilkins is also coming off a season where he didn't play much. He played 4.5 games. So there's that. He ended up grading out really well for them. He had 9 pressures in those games, which isn't outstanding. I mean, that's not like a number. It's like, oh, that blows Aleem McNeil out of the water. But he graded out incredibly well against the run. Now, he didn't play some great offensive lines during that time, in fairness, but it's fine. If you want to put Wilkins there, that's fine. They're near each other. 13, 10. It is what it is. I'm cool with where that ranking is. And they showed some love to Liam. Plus, they also know he's going to miss some time this year, so it doesn't hurt. I mean, you don't know when he's going to be available. The next player that they have, though, is they actually have another one on this list. I was surprised they put him here. I really thought he wasn't going to be on this list after last year, and they put him on here at number 22, DJ Reader. And again, it makes sense when you see who's around him, like Eric Armstead. Like when you see the guys around him, it makes some sense. But at number 22, they put Reader, and that's above like some legitimate, just straight pass rushers, like Osa Odigizua, who can definitely just get after it. That's above some like Byron Murphy. Like there's some dudes up there that can really get after it. The thing is with him, though, is it seemingly is based on this dude can do both. And historically, he's done both. And they actually made a really good, I don't know if I want to call it really good, but it was an interesting context to why they put him here. Reader is known for being a boulder in the middle of a defensive front. He garnered PFF run defensive grades of 70 for 3 straight seasons prior to 2024, prior to last year. His first year with Detroit, his low numbers mirrored those of his first season in Cincinnati 4 years ago. So Cincinnati, it was from where did he come from? He went from Cincinnati to Houston to Cincinnati, signed the big contract in Cincinnati. The first year he graded out it fine. They ended up giving him 69 against the run, a 60.7 in pass rush, so just under 70 that year. And then the next season he graded out an 80 against the run, and then also a 70 in pass rush. So he did take a massive jump the next season just by their rankings alone. And they say that perhaps the second year in the system is all he needs to get back to form. I like this optimistic point of view. I really do. And I also like the perspective of understanding that he and Tyleek will be holding it down early. But I also look at it as having a guy like Roy Lopez that can take a legitimate amount of snaps off the table. Like especially if we feel good about another defensive tackle on the interior. Like if you get another defensive tackle you feel really confident on, like a 4th defensive tackle in the time that Aleem's not here and Wingo's not here, whether that be Raekwon Williams, whoever that could be, that could emerge, or Pat O'Connor, someone can emerge in that role. I do think that having a guy like Roy Lopez helps a ton. And when we go to the roster rankings and what they knocked the Lions for last season, and what they said the biggest issue was defensive line depth, which is pretty understandable. If you look at that, though, the Lions, when you think about how things change, one of the biggest additions to that was Roy Lopez. So I think that could help as well. But they have him pretty high. My argument would be, and I'm trying to make cases for guys that should be on these lists, I would make a case for Levi Onwuzurike being in the top 32. Here's the case that I would make for Levi being in the top 32. The couple guys that I would put him above include, number 1, Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen's at 29. I would put him above Jonathan Allen. I don't think Jonathan Allen should be above Levi. Now, again, the problem here is that Levi's really coming off of one really good season. Last season was fine. He's coming off one really good season. So I can completely understand why he's not on this list. Like, I can understand that. But to me, Jonathan Allen, what their explanation is like, well, hey, hold up. A couple years ago, he's pretty darn good. And I'm like, I get that. But he hasn't been that great the last couple years. Last season was a mess for Jonathan Allen. And his run defense, I mean, when you watch it, it's like, this is concerning. I don't know that he's going to be able to play run. I would put him above Jonathan Allen. He's also 30 now. I guess he's with Minnesota, so maybe it works better. I would put him above Jonathan Allen. That's the easy one for me. He's at 29. The other one I would make the case is Jordan Davis. And again, this is based on the film. I would not have Jordan Davis above Levi after last year. There's no chance I'd have Jordan Davis above Levi. Jordan Davis is fine. He hasn't been a great run defender in the NFL, which the expectation was. He's actually had a lot of juice as a pass rusher, but here's the problem that I have with that. So they grade him as a 58.5 as a run defender, 73 as a pass rusher. The problem is he's played 500 snaps last year. He had 15 pressures. So he grades out well as a pass rusher, but he's not a pass rush piece for that team. So I would also say that Jordan Davis should be below Levi. I would put Levi above both of those players. That'd be the case I make. And I'd also base it on versatility, which they later come back and say the offensive lineman, they bring up linemen as, hey, their value is versatility. Well, shoot, why can't we say that about Levi? Because, yeah, let me not forget, like the value of like who can take snaps off the interior. Levi can do that as well. So I would just say those are the two guys that I would say I can make a strong case and I think that he should be above. And I would definitely say with Jonathan Allen. Say what you want with Jordan Davis, but Jonathan Allen for sure. Now they're different players, but for sure. Anyways, we'll leave that there. And shout out to everybody in chat. I'm gonna get to the chat here in a little bit, man. Over here on YouTube, man. I appreciate y'all in the chat. All right, I'm gonna move to. Let's keep it going. We gotta speed up. This is on me. I thought this was gonna go fast. This is my fault. All right, let's go to linebacker. Linebacker. The Lions have one addition. They left Alex off the list, which is unfortunate. And they ended up like tiering these for some reason. I don't know why they did that. But in tier 3, which I don't know what that means, but I guess just putting gas between guys. Tier 3 is Jack Campbell. He ranks in at number 8. And this is what they say about Jack Campbell. Campbell took a massive step forward in the second season. 78.7 grade, was 4th among linebackers with 600 snaps. So all of a sudden they're like, because guys like Dre Greenlaw, I think probably graded out higher. He just didn't play much at all. While he's always been a plus run defender, he took a massive leap in coverage that earned him his placement on this list. He did. He was awesome in coverage last year. Well, he was better. He was a lot better in coverage last year. Let me calm down. He's good in zone. He's a very good zone linebacker. The 2023 first round. And look, he did some good things in man. Let me not act like he did. I just don't love him there. But he did some good things. Like there was a play last year on the goal line. I think it was 2 yards out, and he was over to slot, and he ends up covering a flat route pretty well. Like that's the kind of thing he was doing that. The 2023 first rounder, 74.2 coverage grade, ranked him in the top 6. And nearly a top six. Okay, maybe he should be higher. Hold up. Maybe I should have had more of an argument with this one. I was fine with him putting Jack Campbell at 8. That's a massive jump. Jack Campbell's at number 8 after a season. I felt pretty good seeing that. The argument that I was going to make was for Alex. Alex is not on this list. Understandable, based on last season. Missed a lot of time. Didn't grade out incredibly well for them. But here's my case. First off, we're taking a strong sample here. So Alex has been consistently a good linebacker. He's consistently been a good linebacker, played multiple spots, run defense and pass coverage has been effective. The guys that I would argue that he should be above, and this one, number 32, Ivan Pace. Ivan Pace, as they mentioned, injuries were a problem in 2024, but he had an 87 run defense grade. However, his coverage grade has been disastrous, or it was disastrous last season. I would put him above Ivan Pace. Now, Ivan Pace meant a lot when he came back. I don't feel like he meant more than when Alex came back for us, though. But he meant a lot when he came back for Minnesota. It just changed things. His run defense was great, and he was a great player, could fly around. I think Alex brings some of that value as well. But he was bad in coverage. Like that was, and he did a lot of things like show rush, drop out, that kind of thing. I would put him above Ivan Pace for a more well-rounded value to the game. That's the one guy that I make the strong argument for as Ivan Pace. Maybe slight arguments for guys like Henley, who are in there above him, and Jamie and Sherwood. But the big one for me, Ivan Pace. I would drop Ivan Pace, put Alex Anzalone in there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not mad at it. Honestly, though, the guy that the guy to watch for when they do these next year is going to be Derek Barnes. Because Barnes isn't in here. I would assume if he played a full season, let's just say he was the same player he was in the first 4 weeks, he's probably on this list. He's probably comfortably on this list. Maybe towards bottom, but he's probably on this list in tier 6. I would just say after this season, I would keep an eye on Ivan Pace, Derek Barnes, jumping on this list at somewhere. The other guy that I would make a case for is Zaire Franklin. Zaire Franklin is at number 27, who is a production machine, gets a lot of tackles. Solo tackles are very high. But just a year ago, Alex had over 90 solo tackles. It's nowhere near like when Zaire puts up 130. But also Alex is a player that I trust a lot more in coverage than Zaire Franklin by like a drastic margin. And I showed some of the advanced stats. So he may not be as highly productive as a run defender. Again, I don't think it's a massive gap, though, between the two. At very least, it's not a massive gap. I would also make the case for him above Zaire Franklin. Those are the two, but whatever, those are fine. Those aren't as strong arguments. I just a couple names that I throw in there. Okay, let's go on to another position because dang, we got a lot of these. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go to another one. Let's go to the offensive line because there's 2 of these grades here. Well, there's 3. First off, center. Tate Rallage is at 32. I don't need to spend much time on this. There's not much to go. They put him at 32 because he hasn't played. So, but they did put him at center. That's all we know. They also know that he didn't play center in college. So there's that too. And I can understand where they're like, oh, let's not put him above. but he could easily jump up that list, right? He's 32 out of the starting centers. He'll jump up that list. Now, onto the guard spot, though, this is where things get interesting because for the guard position, not much love here. Understandable. They have Kevin Zettler in the top 10 because Kevin Zettler is really good. He also showed how good he was a run blocker, especially as the season went on. He was an elite zone blocker for us this past season. He could do both. He could do some gap scheme too. But we didn't get a guy on the list. Now, this would have been hard to put him in this list because you would have had to put Glasgow. He'd been the only guy with the case. And I think he could have a case to be like, oh, well, I could be 32. Not by much, but he could maybe, because last year wasn't a jump up versus the year before, especially according to PFF. I'm okay with them not having him on there. But Mahogany doesn't have enough snaps, and we haven't seen Frazier's play a snap at all. The guy that I would actually argue that would have the best shot to be on this list, and maybe that is Graham, would be Tristan Colon. Tristan Colon is the guy that I'm looking at this like, well, wait a minute. If there was someone that I could, based on PFF, Tristan Colon may have the strongest argument to be on this list. When you go to the bottom and you see how some of the names that are on here, for example, Jonah Jackson is at 31. Now, Jonah Jackson got paid some money. That got let go. Now he's in Chicago. Maybe that's better there. He wasn't bad last season by their grades, but, 59 in pass pro, 68 as run blocker. It's fine. Tristan Colon grades out better for the most part. Grades out better last season. The season before that, he's still very high in pass protection, a little bit lower in run blocking. So by grades, he's actually probably in a better spot than Jonah over the past 2 years. He's just done it in a much smaller sample size. It's the one thing we're going to get Tristan. He's doing this in 300 some snaps. These guys are doing it in 800, 900, 1,000 snaps. But I would say that he actually has a case based on their grades to be above Jonah Jackson. And as they say with Patrick McCarry, who is at 28, which liked him, but didn't love him in free agency. The versatility was the key there. They even say that, well, the versatility is the key. Patrick McCarry at 28 played 1,000 snaps. Grades-wise, not really a gap between him and Tristan Colon. So Tristan actually is the guy I think has the best case to be on here. He just doesn't have enough snaps. So maybe that's what he's never really been a start, like an actual, like, hey, we came to season, that's our guy. Understandable why they didn't put him on here. He'd be the guy that could make the case. Here's the interesting side note to this, though. They do list Christian Mahogany as the guy on. They did a team of, well, I think it was like breakout players for next. I think it was just breakout players, something like a breakout roster for next season. Christian Mahogany was the guard that they listed for that next season, like as the guy that they're expecting to break out. They ended up listing Christian Mahogany as the guy that would break out next season because of how good he was in essentially 100 snaps offensively, how great that they had him graded in 100 snaps offensively. So, and it seems like he's going to play a lot, so he's going to be in that spot. I actually went back and looked at my Mahogany grades from the draft. I actually had some higher grades than I thought I did. So, okay, he's actually a little bit higher than I thought initially, though. But ultimately, Tate's not 32 because they haven't seen him play. Christian Mahogany's not ranked because he hasn't played enough. But they do think that he's going to be on that breakout team this year. And then you would have Miles Frazier. Miles Frazier can start. Like, I'm working on Miles Frazier next. There's a video that we're going to go through. Miles Frazier can start. Okay? Miles Frazier can start. Now, if you take college grades as a zone blocker, he grades a little bit lower. To me, his angles aren't as consistent to the next level. He doesn't play with the best feel at the next level, picking up blocks, cutting off guys, but he has a lot of similar style to Kevin Zeitler. Like, and I just can't help. Like, that was the guy I come to at the draft, and I'm watching him today again. I'm like, this reminds me of Zeitler. He's very quick off the ball. He's got some length to him. He gets on guys quickly. As a run blocker, he's off the ball incredibly fast. He's so reactive off the snap. I'm telling you, Miles Frazier can start. Miles Frazier can start. He might start this year. Like, this dude legitimately might start this year. I'm not sure where I'm going to land on this when the video comes out, but early on, I think there's a real shot that I end up saying that this is the best value pick still. Like, coming into it, I would have said this is the best value pick the Lions made. I may end up feeling that same way after the draft, after I got through everybody, because I think the value is incredible. Lions landed there. So just as a side note, I think Frazier is going to be tough. But Tristan Colon's got a case by grade. So I'm feeling pretty good about the O-line. That's my case. Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's go to the offensive tackle. Both of the Lions offensive tackles were on here. No, not Giovanni Manu. Maybe he should have been. He wasn't. But Penei Sewell came in at 6. They brought Penei Sewell at 6, and they also put Taylor Decker. He was in the 20s. Taylor Decker was at 24. Now, Taylor Decker, I'm glad they showed him some love. They actually have him right below Ronnie Stanley, which is interesting. But they got him above some really good tackles. There's a lot of good tackles in the league, man. It's a lot of legit tackles. They have him in a fine spot. I'm not mad at this. Ultimately, though, I loved what Decker did last season, so he definitely should have been on this list. even mentioned that he earned an 83 PFF pass blocking grade, which ranked 8th among offensive tackles this past season from week 12 on, including the playoffs, giving up only 5.1% pressures, which is interesting because they put Sewell at 8 and they knocked the pass protection. But they put Sewell at 6, they knock his pass protection. But with Sewell, they say, first off, he's the best run blocker in football. And he also, look, I don't watch every tackle like that. Not like I watch Sewell, but this dude does more stylistically than I feel like anybody else does at tackle. Like, not just like, oh, we'll do some different schemes. Like, I don't know of another tackle that consistently on zone plays works between the center. Like, I don't know how many guys do that. It's insane. I'm like, it's crazy. It's like you could just take this freakazoid athlete and just let everybody else down block because he's going to fly. It's insane. I don't know how he does that stuff. He's freaky athlete. But in pass pro, they mentioned his pass block grade being a 75.4, allowing 4.7% pressure on 4.7% of the plays. Now, that's 23rd, but that's actually better than Taylor Decker last year. Now, Decker's playing left tackle, so maybe there's some of that there. I'm fine with where they got him. I have no problem with where they got him. It's actually cool that Jordan Mailata's at number 1. Maybe that's going to be our Giovanni Manu. Eventually, maybe. All right, both tackles are in there, both in the top 24. That's cool with me. If anything, I would move Decker up because I think Decker was so good last season. I would move Decker up. I thought he was that good as a run blocker. I thought he changed the game when he was a run blocker for us. He would be the guy that I would make the case to move up a little bit higher. I think with that, we have one left. Did we do tight ends? We didn't do tight ends. Oh, we have safeties too, don't we? Do we have safety? I feel like we already looked at safeties. We have tight ends. Let's go to tight end. So we'll wrap this with tight ends. For tight ends, Sam Laporta, of course, is the guy that's on here. They have him at 5. And their explanation is very, very understandable. Fantastic rookie season, 86 catches, 890 yards, 10 touchdowns. And they basically line it up as like, okay, people thought he dipped because he had less production. Reality, they had a lot of weapons. He was basically the same player by their grades overall. So they ended up having Laporta at 5. The weird one for me was having, and he's actually above Hawkinson. So there's that. He's above Hawkinson. Hawkinson's good too. They have Bowers, Kittle, McBride. Perfectly fine with all those. I think you could make a case that he could go above Mark Andrews. As they say, the final impressions with Andrews was not good. Yeah, he had the drop pass in the playoffs. One of the best tight ends in the NFL when healthy. Entered the NFL and shined in a limited role as a rookie and has not posted a sub-80 regular season PFF grade since. I think he could have a case to be above Mark Andrews, especially after last season. I think you can make that case to put him at number 4. Outside of that, though, I don't have any problem with where those rankings fall in. Let me double check actually real quick. Because Mark Andrews last season, he ended up having 670 yards, 55 receptions, and 11 touchdowns. And he's coming off a season with 500 yards, coming off a season before that with 840 yards. I would put him above Mark Andrews. Like, that would be that. I think there's a legitimately strong case that can be made that he should be above Mark Andrews. Outside of that, though, I'm fine with it. If maybe you want to give him the nod as a run blocker, even though Laporta, I think, has done a lot of good as a run blocker, and he's still focused on that. I think he's done a lot of good as a run blocker. So ultimately, man, I feel fine with a lot of these rankings. Those are some of the cases that I would make to move guys around. I don't think there's any others that we missed on there. I think we hit on running back. All right, let's do running back real quick because we're here. Let's do running back. So at running back, they ended up having Jahmyr Gibbs at 4 and David Montgomery at 21, which is crazy. Think about that. They have our running backs ranked higher than our tackles. That sounds insane. Like, who would have thought that? I mean, after you drafted Sewell, you're like, hey, you know what? In a couple of years, your running backs are actually going to be graded out higher or ranked higher than your 2 tackles. Like, that's insane. Gibbs is 4. Monty is 21, noting that Monty had the highest receiving grade, battled through the knee injury this past season. Monty was awesome this past season. Had the bad fumble against Minnesota. Outside of that, though, he was awesome. And then Jahmyr Gibbs at 4. And I don't think there's a super strong case to move him like above Bijan. I mean, you could move him above Bijan. The biggest thing for like career production, you definitely can. But based on their grades, the biggest thing for me would be there is Bijan Robinson, who was very productive in the pass game as well, over 400 yards receiving. Gibbs was very productive in the pass game. Is that Bijan had a negative 0.4 average depth of target. Jahmyr Gibbs had a plus 0.4 average depth of target. So I think about like pushing the ball downfield a little bit more, potentially in the pass game, like can be a little bit more, or I think last year a little bit more versatile in the ways that you could actually use him in the pass game. He's just electric. Bijan is with the ball, but I think about that a little bit more as well. He's great as a pass catcher, but I just think about that a little bit as maybe that could be the separating factor. They're different styles of running back, no doubt, different styles. Bijan is freaky elusive, and then you have Gibbs, who's freaky fast, but also a lot of contact balance. So those are fine with me. I'm cool with them having him at 4. I think at that point, putting Derrick Henry at 1, Saquon at 2, it's like, all right, here's another group here. I mean, this is like different level. Honestly, if you want to cut it off and say that's tier 1, that's what they should do. That's tier 1 to me. Like that's the best of the best. Maybe put McCaffrey in there when healthy. Like put him at 5. Like those are tier 1. So no issues with that. Roster ranking was number 3 behind Philadelphia at 1, Baltimore at 2. The questions that they noted was the defensive line depth after last year, or the defensive line depth from 2024, and the biggest strength was the offensive line. Weird thing is now the biggest questions are probably on the offensive line because of new pieces, and the defensive line. So I went to go look. I'm like, let me kind of remind myself what the difference are between now defensive line and last year, because defensive line depth, like to an extent, I do feel like there's like not a lot you can do with it. You can only hold 53 players. So if I lose 4 on the defensive line, it's like, yeah, but I there's not enough guys I can actually hold to make this make sense. Like eventually I'm going to have to go sign free agents. There's just I can't hold all these guys. It just doesn't work. So when you go through the numbers though, or if you look at the players though, the differences, most of the players are the same from last year. The only difference is some guys are coming in with injuries or some guys are coming in healthy now, like Hutchinson. Most of them are the same. Lee McNeil, Mekhi Wingo, DJ Reader, Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Pascal, Levi, Marcus Davenport, Al-Quadin Muhammad. All of those guys are the same year to year. Hopefully get some development. The changes would be essentially James Houston, who didn't really play a lot, but he played some meaningful roles at times. James Houston to Hassanin. James Houston to Hassanin, which was a draft pick this year. And then Za'Darius Smith midway through the season, who they rank by their edge rusher rankings. They had Aiden Hutchinson number 5. Last year, he was number 6. They had him at number 5. They actually moved him up. That was the only edge rusher to get on here. Last year, they also ranked Marcus Davenport as the 32nd best edge rusher in football. This year, they ended up not having him on the rankings because they were basing that on what he did with New Orleans. So they're taking that strong sample size. He didn't really play last year, so they didn't put him on there. But he could definitely get back on there based on that being the case because he's that productive. But so there's a lot of similarities. The biggest difference is they have Za'Darius, who's ranking at 29 for them. Za'Darius is no longer on the team. We'll see. That could change. If he comes back, I mean, you'd have 2 guys in there and then potentially a third with Davenport, who also ranked in there last season. But the difference is now instead of Za'Darius and really just Za'Darius, now you have Tyreek and Roy Lopez, and you still have Miles Adams. So that's really the difference. Is a couple guys are injured, but you essentially went from Za'Darius Smith to Tyreek Williams and Roy Lopez. Like those are the couple new additions to the mix. So at least on the interior, I feel like you're stronger there. By numbers, it feels like you have a little bit more proven depth. You have a little bit more proven depth, even though Tyreek's not proven, but it feels like he kind of is because he's a first-round pick. Like I feel like I'm going to get some more proven depth than that. Ahmed from James Houston, is that more proven depth? Maybe not necessarily proven, but it's a more of an investment. So you have just like 2 new investments, and then you have Roy Lopez, who is a proven backup piece. So I would say that the D line on paper is actually deeper by the numbers. It's just when do these guys get right? When do they get healthy? And as long as we can hold on until Aleem and Mekhi Wingo get back, you're going to be in a great spot. So that being said, I'm going to wrap it over here on BR, man. This went long, but I appreciate y'all joining for a Friday episode. We had to get through these rankings, so we'll leave it there. We won't visit these. Well, we will visit these again, but for now, I'm going to end it there. I appreciate y'all joining, and I'll see you guys same time Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're out. YouTube, man, there was a lot there. I should have went faster. I didn't realize until I was rolling like, yo, I should have went a lot faster. I missed multiple positions. I didn't even realize I missed edge rusher, but I did miss edge rusher. There was just too much. I put too many dang players on there, man, or too many positions on there. I should have went a lot faster. We're like 9 minutes in before I got through the first one. That's on me, but we're good. We're out of here. We're done with that. I'm kind of happy to be done with that because honestly, I didn't have a lot of problems with their rankings. I felt good. Like them putting golf in the top 10 felt good because last year that was like the main topic. It was like, oh, let me argue about that. And then they moved him up this year. So I'm like, all right, I'm cool. Pretty good. I mean, I would like to see Levi in there. I think he has a case, like a real case. And then Davenport, like, yeah, but they put him in last year at 32, but he didn't play. So I can't be upset about that. It's about Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart situation, goes back to college or sits out a year. Lions get him. What are your thoughts on Stewart? Yeah, I don't know how that's going to shake out. I mean, it's kind of a mess right now. I did see the whole like, oh, go back to the draft. That's weird. That's weird. That's got to be like the first time something like that has ever happened. My guess is, and I don't know because the Bengals are goofy, man. Like at this point, I have no idea what the Bengals are going to do. My guess is he will ultimately get his deal. I don't think he's going to end up with another team and not on his rookie contract. I think he'll end up getting his deal with them. I feel like this could go way longer than it should. I just don't think it'll happen. But I did hear about the whole going back into the draft thing. I'm trying to figure out where I saw that article at. I saw an article on being able to like get back to the draft based on like CBA, but that's weird. Like I don't know. Hold on, maybe there's something on this. Ian Rapport reveals Shamar Stewart's issue, and it's not money. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, you drafted him. I don't like you already drafted a guy that had like legit. Okay, I'm not really. We'll see. Right? There's a lot of we'll see. I don't know how this becomes a thing. Like I really don't. My understanding was the issue. It's not money. Money is not negotiated with these deals. Yeah, it's not money. It's the language. Okay, so we understand this. Actually, they had Shamar Stewart's dad on Roundtable Sports talking about this. How it was more so the language of the contract, not the money. Because yeah, you can't pick the money. From what I am told, several rookies around him and most teams have similar language, but Shamar Stewart does not want to sign his deal with the language in the contract. Because of that, Stewart and his agent made the decision that he is not signing anytime soon. So he leaves. He goes away for the summer, and now, along with Trey Hendrickson, the Cincinnati Bengals have not one but two major issues. I would assume that he's going to just get his contract. I don't know. It just feels like too much for something that's not that big of a deal. Like I don't think it's that. Like, bro, you know what you had to pay him. Like, regardless if you want to make like, oh, is it guaranteed? Like, bro, you had to pay him the same money regardless. It's like you knew what the number was going to be. I don't think it's going to get that far because I guess there's no rush on his end. I just think eventually it's like, man, like, hey, what are we doing? At some point, you just got to pay the guy. Like, there's no benefit. I don't know. I don't know. But I did see the re-entering the trap. So here's what it said. Negotiating a rookie contract shouldn't be difficult. Okay, yeah, let's do the Bengals. Here it goes. We know it's not about money. Both sides would be signing a 4-year, $18.94 million deal. Complaining the Bengals threw him a curveball, adding new language to his deal that they didn't use in their past 2 first-round picks. They want to add a default clause. This would allow the Bengals to void future guarantees if he were to get in trouble. Oh, no, and that's crazy. They want to. This would allow Bengals to void future guarantees if he gets in trouble. This could be a suspension on field, off field, an arrest, or anything the Bengals can think of. Normally, a first-round pick is fully guaranteed for your deal, but this would give the Bengals some wiggle room to potentially get out. That's insane. That's insane. Like, it's so crazy. No, that's so crazy, bro. Bengals are not slick, dude. Bengals are not slick. Where does this thing about? Okay, wait. If the Bengals aren't willing to change the language, Stewart is a prototype. Money and player empowerment. Okay, we got that. Stewart signed with Texas. Okay, Stewart has several options. He could quickly turn into the Bengals' worst nightmare if he becomes to go nuclear option, re-entering next year's draft, a process that is outlined by Article 6 of the CBA. If Stewart doesn't sign his contract and doesn't play football at all in 2025, he could enter the draft in 2026. If he went this route, it means that any team could draft him next year, except for the Bengals. If a player were to successfully pull off a move like this, it would throw a wrench in the future of the draft. No, that definitely would. It would set up. That would be a problem. That would be a real problem if you could be like, not signing the contract. I almost feel like if that happened, like he would not go round one. I don't think there's a shot the dude would go round one. If he sat out, went back in the draft, he would get drafted. But there's no shot he's going round one at that point. It would set up potential situations where a player could sit out if he didn't get drafted by a team he wanted to play for. It does hurt them because it's like, okay, maybe once, but age-wise, this becomes a problem. Did they lose the pick? I would assume they lose the pick. Like, I wouldn't think he'd get it back. My guess is they would lose it because then they would have to get the pick back for next year. And it's like, well, that's not right. You can't give them a pick. It's like a comp pick. Like, you can't give them a first-round pick next year. That throws everybody else off. Stewart would essentially have because then couldn't they almost just like mess up the language on purpose so he doesn't sign it at that point? Like, we like this other guy. That'd be crazy. He allowed to sign his rookie contract until following week 10. If he doesn't sign by that date, then he's not allowed to play in 2025. Another upside of strategy. If Stewart went undrafted in 2026, maybe a situation with the Bengals scared teams away, then he would become an undrafted free agent and be free to sign with any team. That almost feels like it would happen. Like if he just went back in the draft, he would go undrafted. If the Bengals don't give him the contract language he wants, there's a unique deadline in place for any team that wants to trade a rookie. A deal has to be made at least 30 days before the start of the regular season. So a decision would have to be made by August 5th or 8th. CBA isn't clear. Okay, the Bengals don't like being bullied, so this scenario would probably be unlikely, but it would be an option. So they could try to move him. And that would be just bad because you would just get less in return for what? Like, no one's giving you a first-round pick for that. I think they're just going to take it out of the contract. Clearly, the Bengals are playing. I mean, shoot, if they let this thing happen and he comes back and they don't change any language in there and they're like, we're cool on that, you sign this deal, they're crazy. Like, they're built different if they're going to just, like, stick to that's how they're going to handle it. Because it's like, it feels like they are trying to find a loophole. It doesn't seem like a thing where it's like, well, this guy gets in trouble a lot, so we might get in trouble. Like, I don't feel like that. It feels like they're legitimately trying to open up a loophole so they don't have to give him money eventually. They got to get that done. They got to find a way. They got to get that done. Take some time off. Get the deal done. Who is their GM? Like, I mean, did they have the same GM or like, is this a new guy? How does this allowed to happen? Wouldn't the owner be like, what are we doing? Bengals GM is Duke Tobin. Oh, they do not have a GM. Duke Tobin is director of player personnel. How do you not have it? Okay. They don't have a GM? That might be a problem too. I mean, that might be an issue as well. Denies Bengals offering same. So now they're like, yo, actually, they did offer the same contract. And whoever would post that, like, why would the Bengals put that out there? Like, actually, we did offer him the same contract. He just won't sign it. Like, isn't that kind of weird? Like, if you didn't, it almost feels like Shamar has to understand, like, you're gonna get this money. Like, I would be shocked if he's like, well, I actually think I can get more money. It doesn't seem like that. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, because if the other team, if they said they had the same language as other NFL teams, so they didn't say like the past 2 years, they said as other NFL teams. They're offering the same language in this clause as a majority of first-round or contracts. And for reference, have offered the exact language of the pick before Walter Nolan and after Gray Zabel. It's different than Murphy and Mims the last 2 years, and the Bengals generally structure contracts differently than most teams with guarantees, which matters. But the language being proposed is common across the NFL. So now, if that's true, the deal should get done. If that's true, the deal should get done. Then it feels like it's more in Shamar Stewart's hands. I don't know. Because if other teams are doing that, if other teams are legitimately offering this, like, let's say, like realistically, there was a lot of teams that were giving him the same language, and then he's like, I'm not going to sign that. Who is going to come back around and draft the guy? Like, are those teams going to come back around and be like, actually, we want to add him now? It's like, okay, but it actually seems less likely. It seems less likely that they would do that then because they're like, nah, bro, we were doing the same thing. The teams are trying to hold the power, man. They're not going to, I don't know. This feels like it's in Shamar Stewart's court more than anything. And this feels dangerous. I feel like it would be dangerous for him to not end up signing the contract. If it's true that the language is similar to a lot of other first round deals and he's just not signing it, when time goes on, I think it'd be dangerous for him in terms of his future. I think it would be because it was already like, we'll see with the prospect. I think that'd be dangerous for him to like sit out a year and go through I don't know. I don't know if that's the guy that you want starting that. I don't know. I just think that'd be dangerous, man. Him trying to like figure it out. Seems like things go really wrong there really fast. If they're giving you the same deal, if I were him, I think you just got to maybe find some sort of easy compromise, but you take that deal and you keep it moving. Because, yeah, that's crazy. Zach Taylor said, we want to protect our team. our locker room. And there's some things I understand when there's frustration there. But that's how he chose to do it. That's his prerogative. We look forward to getting him back in the fold. He needs to sign the deal. Like after the Shador thing, teams are not going to be lining up to go get a player that won't take the contract. Like, think how messy that would be the next time the contract negotiation comes around. A team would probably feel like they're getting fleeced all the time. Like, yo, this guy, I'm not paying you that, dog. Like, I don't know. It just sets, I feel like it sets a really bad look early. I'm not saying he's wrong, maybe, but it feels like it sets it's just not good to have that tied immediately into the NFL. It's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be the first guy to just not play. That doesn't seem like it's going to go well. I don't know. This isn't good. But I would assume they don't lose the pick. They would retain his rights. Yeah, because how would he do that? Like, I guess maybe you can go back now. I thought like once you hired a scout, or not a scout, sorry, an agent. But maybe that changed now. You can hire an agent, and then once that changed, that you can hire an agent and still go back. Or is that the NBA? Might be the NBA. I don't know. This is weird. Thomas, I see you. Yeah, I don't know. He's got to sign that deal. I don't think the Lions would be interested in that. I think if he's not going to be willing to sign a deal and he sits, I don't think the Lions would sign him either. Or attempt to sign him, I guess. I don't know that he would sign. I mean, shoot, but I don't think it would. I don't think it would go down. All right. Well, that being said, my understanding they're offering the same language and clause. Yeah, Paul, can you please? Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, I guess we'll leave it there. We have Miles Frazier video in the works, so that has been started. Working through that. Rock Ya-Sin video is up. Shout out to Charles, man. I know Charles was. I think Charles was one that was pretty hyped on Rock Ya-Sin. So getting that out was good. Usually 1 year avoidable money, but they want to make the rest of the contract. Usually there's 1 year avoidable money, but they want to make it the rest of the contract. What I'm saying is, if my man Paul Denner, and I know the Bengals don't be spending money. I mean, they do. They just don't do it in the right spots, it seems like. Facilities and stuffs are a mess. They did pay. It's not like they're not paying anybody, because there is like responsibility to pay a certain amount. It's like you can't, as a team, you can't just not spend. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to spend an amount of your cap. So they are required to spend an amount of their cap. So they do that, right? Otherwise, it would be illegal. They are required to do this. They do that. But if I just take Paul's word for it, if there's other teams that are offering this contract, the same language, even if it's different than years past, I would say from the player's perspective, it's in your best interest. You may not want to do it. It probably would be in your best interest to ultimately take that. I mean, if it's something crazy, I get it. It's like, oh, this is what are they offering me? But if other teams are doing it, I feel like you take the deal, man. Like, I just don't think this is going to be good down the road for him. This is not going to help him, I don't think, down the road. Now, I understand, like, Bengals are goofy. I hear you on that one. Money-wise, it may not have the most money. He may not be like, I even want to play here. Like, I can understand that if he doesn't even want to be there. Like, I can understand all of that. And maybe that's that's the strong motive is like, actually, I don't really have that much interest in even being here. Don't want to be a part of this. Don't think I'd get an extension if I earned it here anyway, because Hendrickson didn't get his extension. So I'd rather take my chances to see if I could just land somewhere else. Maybe that's the strongest motive here, more so than anything, having that in the back of his mind. And I get that. I just don't think it'd be a good path for him is to make that the thing that kind of leads. But, do what he want to do. But, I mean, like I said, if it's the same language, I just don't think it makes sense to be like, I'm not going to sign the contract. To me, it doesn't bode well for him. And it's like, if you're allowed to offer that as a team and other teams have set a precedent, like they're doing the same thing. And all they're saying is essentially having that loophole where it's like, okay, it's not fully guaranteed as a 4-year contract if you do commit these certain things, right? Like if you do these certain things, yeah, you'd prefer it be fully guaranteed. But I also don't think that's insane. It's clearly not insane because other teams are doing it. Like, so I just think, like, for his sake, it'd probably be best to just take that deal. But we'll see. Maybe they change on it. They're like, all right, whatever. We'll just do it anyway. I don't know. Because I doubt that number is that significant for them. But shoot, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much the ownership makes. I know that they don't make as much as others, right? But I don't know. Now, we could definitely talk about making the right decision. Like, was it the right decision to pay both receivers? Maybe not, because there's ownership with money that make horrible decisions. Cleveland has a lot of money. They make awful decisions. We've seen they pay money, they give out guarantees. They're giving guarantees to the wrong places. They're giving out the wrong. It's like this is not good, and it's setting them back. So, just because you give out the money doesn't necessarily mean that you're making sense with it. How would you feel about giving JMO 25 mil extension? Not saying I would just I wouldn't right now. Like right now? No, I wouldn't right now. I mean, it would depend on I guess how they would feel about it because they seem to be talking very highly expecting kind of a breakout season. So if they were already anticipating that's going to happen, then okay, I guess I just wouldn't do it right now. I mean, you got him on his 5th year, so you got him an extra season. I wouldn't rush it. Like I'd be okay with just kind of delaying that. I know you don't want to because it's more expensive, but I think where we're at as a team now, we've like entered the process of everybody has to earn it or you don't get the extension. So I need to see continued growth. So I think that if he came out this year with all this hype and he was trash, you'd be like, maybe I shouldn't have paid him. It's like, so I think we're in that spot. Like we have to be very, very responsible with who we give the money to. So I wouldn't do it right now. Would I be mad if they did? No, I wouldn't be mad if they did. I don't really have a strong take on like either side of like, oh, don't pay the guy. Like he's a receiver. Like I'm cool with paying receivers. Like if it, it's fine with me. Like if that positional group or if that piece on your team makes that much of a difference, I'm cool with it. Then you just have to be able to supplement it the other ways. You have to find guys that you can afford in the offensive line. You better be able to draft those other spots. Like it's ultimately about how it times up with everything else. How does your timeline match up with everything else? And then can you supplement around that? As long as you can do that, that's fine with me. The player's value just has to stand out. Like JMO has to be that. It has to be very clear cut that Jameson's that valuable for him to get a massive deal that puts him up there as a top receiver. And I think this is the year to prove that because I don't think to this point he's put himself in that category to me where it's like, oh, there's no doubt we're paying this guy. There's no doubt I'm giving him top receiver money. Like I'm not in that mode yet. And probably from his sake, it would probably make more sense to wait. I would think. Like it'd make more sense to wait, go crazy this year if that's what they're talking about. I think John Morton's offense, you'll get the opportunity to go crazy, make even more money. But it's got to be obvious, and I think that's where I'm at with it. Like everybody's got to play through this. I want to see where you're at next year. I need to see the full picture for a lot of these players. I'm going to have to see the full picture at this point. But if they did, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, I don't think I'd be mad. 25 is not crazy for a receiver. Like not now. I don't think 25 is that crazy for a receiver. I'm looking at the T. Higgins deal. T. Higgins got, and I guess it just depends, but T. Higgins got a $30 million guaranteed, 28.75 a year. So 25 would be super reasonable. I would kind of be surprised if he took 25 a year, to be honest. Like if he took 25 right now based on this deal, like I'd be pretty surprised. Maybe he would. I don't know that he would take 25 right now though. I would think that he would want to wait and be like, "Yo, let me go make 30 million here. Like, give me a minute. Let me go cook this year because that ranks 9th. They're saying we go to 25 a year would put him at Devontae Smith, Nico Collins, Debo. Yeah, bro. Like, I feel like he wouldn't even accept that. I mean, shoot, maybe he would. I guess money. You put that money in front of him. If there's enough guarantees to that, like fully guaranteed, DJ got 43. If 40 of that was guaranteed, maybe you put 40 guaranteed on 25 a year. That might do it. I don't think he would accept that. That's why you pay it now. Now I get like it definitely makes sense. I mean, if you're expecting you're gonna pay the guy anyway, I'm cool with getting it done. I'm just not in that mode. I'd rather wait, see how it plays out after this season. I need at least one more year because he's got the 5th year option on top of this year. So he's under contract for 2 more seasons. And the second year from this year is still reasonable. I'd prefer to wait, see how it plays out this year, understanding I still have another year under contract. And at that point, I feel like I'd have a stronger sample size. Because right now, the only sample size I really have is I have one full season, which was a really good year last year. And I got a year where he was kind of came on towards the end of the season. Based on 2 years ago, I wouldn't sign him to a massive deal. Based on last year, I'm like, all right, we're getting there. But I'm not that sold yet. I'm not that sold yet. I'm not saying I don't think he's going to cook. I think he's going to have more than enough opportunity. I'm just not there yet with the player. But maybe if y'all are like, hey, you know, everybody can see it differently. I just wouldn't be there yet with it. The Branch and Anzalone because our defense. Well, definitely Branch. I definitely want to like to me, Branch, I've seen enough. I don't need to see any more Brian Branch. I would sign that guy yesterday, bro. He can get the extension whenever. I don't need to see any more from Brian Branch. But alongside the Jameson thing, if you're legitimately keeping an open discussion about, okay, all of these guys are free agents, and we do want to have Jamo on the table as a potential guy we can bring forward and keep forward, then I think it's only fair that you don't give Brian the extension now because you could be cutting off a guy like that. Like if you understand that, like, okay, there's a couple guys that we're not going to be able to keep, it's just two, then you probably have to be fair to him and to yourself of like, let me not give the deal now, because once I do that, I may put myself in a spot where I can't really find a path to doing it. So I like, but Brian Branch, I've seen enough. Like I don't need to see anymore. I pay the guy. Let's keep him moving. Paying on being confident. And it's tough, man, because it is like the number's going to go up. If the cap continues to rise, it could go up at very least $5 million a year in terms of what you would have paid him a year before. I always do though, just wonder from a player's perspective. Like if you threw that number at Jameson, what do you expect it? From our side, like it makes a lot of sense. From his side though, like I wouldn't accept that. Maybe it's not me, like legitimately me. If someone's like, hey, 25 million, here's 40 million guaranteed, 25 year, like, oh, I'm accepting that. I don't need to wait. Let's get the deal done. But in his shoes, I think it'd be hard to accept that right now. Like, let me go find out how much I can really go get after this season. Do you have a membership? So we do have a membership available. We do have a membership. The thing though, so I saw someone else do this, and we may try to do this as well. There's two things. Number one is during the season, we do our all 22 reviews. I may start making those. I don't know for sure. So don't like get the membership knowing I'm saying this. There's a chance that I start doing like the long form to the members and then having cuts go as videos. That's a real possibility. The second thing is for the upcoming draft, the plan is I'm going to be building out a kind of a big board, but it's going to have all my reports on a doc. So you're going to be able to click and just see my reports. That way you don't have to wait for me to talk about them. You can just see them as I go through them. And it'll show you everything that I have. I plan on putting that behind a membership wall. So if you have a membership, you'll have access to that. That's the plan for the membership side of things. Right now, there's not a lot going on there. That's the plan as we go forward. That'll be available for Dose of Draft, but specifically for this channel because this channel allows memberships. That's probably where I'll end up throwing that access. It may be through something else, but that's probably where that's going to end up going. Just that right now, we don't have those yet. So as of now, maybe don't rush into it, but we do have those available. Do you, I don't know though. I mean, I don't know. Like Jack, like weirdly, I feel really good about Jack after last year. Like I feel super confident in Jack Campbell to the point where I'm like, if you wanted to get ahead of a Jack Campbell contract, I'd be on board with that. I don't think it's even, he can't even do it yet. He's only played for 2 years, but like 2 years in, if he was eligible for a new contract, I'd be cool with giving Jack Campbell a new contract. I feel really comfortable with Jack Campbell for some odd reason. Now, maybe next year he's trash. And I'm like, well, see, that's why we shouldn't have waited on it so soon. But I would feel really good about him, I think, right now. That'd be someone I'd feel pretty comfortable. Like if he balls out again next year, I'm cool with getting ahead of that. Let's get that deal done. Let's not wait on linebacker. I'd feel super comfortable because he put year on year, good together. He stacked them up. And I don't know, I just feel it when I watch him. JMO, I just want to see it. And I know receiver is dependent too. Receivers depend on what the offense is doing, depending on what Goff is doing. It's just dependent. So I think it's also important to understand like how it looks within what it's going to be. For Jack, like it doesn't feel like it's dependent on the scheme, I guess, to a sense, but he's also reacting to everything. Defense is so reactionary. So like I feel like he's going to react well. I just feel like he's going to make a lot of the good decisions. So like I would give him a deal. But we can't yet. We can't do that yet. And then like running back, I feel really good about Jahmyr Gibbs, especially next. I still don't think he's at his peak, and he's awesome. I wouldn't give Gibbs a deal early. I wouldn't do that. Lions might. Some teams have tried it. I wouldn't. I'd wait. Like I don't, you don't want to, but I'd do it. I'd be like, you know what? I'd wait on this. I'd wait all 5 years. I pick up that 5th year. I'd wait the 5th year as well. I want to see all 5 years play out. Then I'll make the decision. But I'm not getting ahead of a running back's contract. Nothing to do with Jahmyr Gibbs. Just because it's a running back, I don't think I'd get ahead of a running back's contract. Maybe my mind changes on that at time. But right now, I wouldn't get ahead of a running back contract. That would be something that I'd be very willing to be like, I'll pay a little bit extra. I'll wait. I'll pay a little bit extra. I'm not going to go sign that early. He's a dog, but got to watch out for his teammates. Alex Rod is the odd man out on linebackers. Alex Rod. Malcolm feels like he could get a, I want to say like a Roy Lopez deal. But you remember when Joan Reese-Maybin left and he got signed to a 2-year deal? He'll probably get more than that. But he could end up getting something like that from somebody else that views him as a starter. And he could also be more intrigued by that as well, where it's like, oh, I'm a starter here. He's interesting to watch with the Alex deal too. If the Alex deal doesn't go through, which whether it does or doesn't, I want to have him this year. But let's just say it from a contract perspective, best case scenario for him, deal doesn't go through. They don't extend him. He plays this year. I think the Lions would feel very comfortable saying, hey, Alex, we're going to let you walk. Malcolm will resign you, and you can earn your spot as a starter. They'll get him on a price point that probably would be much more reasonable because he hasn't been the full-time starter, and he would also be understanding that he's stepping into a larger role that wouldn't separate him between other teams. Like, well, this other team, I'm a starter. That'd be something to keep an eye on because if Alex does get an extension, it may be very difficult to bring back Malcolm, even if you want to, just because he wants to go somewhere else and get a bigger opportunity. Kind of like what Jalen did from special teams to linebacker. He may get a bigger opportunity somewhere else. Linebackers kind of tend to roll through pretty fast. So that could make it just difficult that on his end, he's not looking to make that happen. I don't know. I hope he gets back though. Like I would love to pay him. I'd love to see him get that contract done with Malcolm. And I don't think it'd be that expensive either. I don't think it'd be crazy expensive. I'd love to see that. He feels like he'd be such a value signing. Maybe he's the Levi signing this year. Maybe he's the next Levi signing. That'd be cool. I'd like to get him for multiple years though. Like I'm almost like where I'm at with Barnes with him. Like I'd sign him for 3 years. Like I'm pretty good with Malcolm. All right. With that, I'm gonna leave it there. Hey, shout out to Roy Lopez, man. Big signing. It's a big signing. I hope so too. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 deals over 10. Who's your second year breakout on defense this year? Second year breakout. Second year breakout. I feel like I have to go with Terrion. Like I have to go with Terrion Arnold because he's going to be on the field. He's going to get the best opportunity to break out. It's a weak answer, but it feels like it has to be Terrion Arnold. Like it's got to be. Terrion Arnold's got to be the breakout player. I would say this though. Marcus Davenport. Because Terrion from a rookie, he's actually in his second year. Yes, he's going to get a chance to start. He should take a big step. I would actually my pick would actually be Marcus Davenport because he's second year here. I think Davenport's that good. It's just having him right. He seems to have the right mindset. Y'all know I love Rakestraw. You know I love Rakestraw. It's just about getting him. It's about getting him on the field too. I know Terrion's going to get the snaps. We'll see on Rakestraw. That's where I'm a little bit not sure of yet because I know that DJ's going to start. I know DJ can play inside. I don't think they'll do it a ton. So then it's on a Meek, and it's like, okay, well, then he's going to have to beat out a Meek. He's going to have to push a Meek off the field to the point where they feel like they are going to push somebody else in so that he'll play on the outside. But I would say Davenport because Davenport's that good. Like, to me, it's very easy to project that he could break out because he's just that talented. Just needs to be right. And this feels like the year to do it because, you know, he seems to have the right mindset for it. I'm just hoping for his luck as long as he gets some luck. Yo, and that's the thing, too. Like, Rakestraw was a dog last year in camp. He was a dog through all the build up to the regular season and the preseason. He was good at all of it. He was good at all of it in the build up. And then he just didn't play a lot during the season, had some injuries. but he was good in all of that. He was dominant. He's taking the football away. He's doing things they even do in college. Raystar was awesome then too. I think Raystar is going to be a stud in time. I think he's going to be a stud. He just needs to get on the field. I don't know how he consistently gets on the field right now. In my opinion, I think it'd be easy. I just push DJ inside. When you put 3 receivers, you go 2 receivers, DJ you go outside, Raystar come off the field. 3 receivers, push him inside, and it's cut kick outside. Like that's what I would do. That would be my plan, is to just make that the rotation. I just don't think they're going to do that very often. I think they're going to lean to a lot of Amik Robertson, which will hurt his opportunity there. He just got hurt. All right, that's messed up. All right, I'm hoping that's not true, but the concern is I'm actually kind of concerned with you saying that. Like, oh shoot, is he telling the truth? Is JT really telling me he just got hurt and he actually did just get hurt? I hope he didn't just get hurt. I don't think he did. But yeah, no, we're that's crazy. All right, I don't think he got hurt. We're gonna leave it there. I will see y'all soon. No, last year. Oh, he just got hurt last year. But he gets hurt every year. Oh, you talking about Wingo. You talking about Wingo. Okay. Yeah, Wingo. I didn't include Wingo. Well, yeah, Wingo's got, I don't know when he's going to be back. That's the problem. I don't know when Wingo's going to be back. I like Wingo too. I still think it's kind of in the phase of figuring out what he does best, what position he's going to work best at. But him also having to miss time makes that even more difficult. Like if he was through all of this, I'd probably feel more comfortable with it. But it feels like when he comes back, he could just be plugging in where you need him. So it might just be like, oh, this is a spot. We need you, so you're going to play here. But Davenport's the one, man. Well, Terrion for sure. Like Terrion's going to cook. I love Terrion. Like, so I love both. I had Raystar as cornerback 5 when we drafted him that year. I had Terrion as cornerback 1, so I love them both. Both going to cook. Just checking in, waiting for the Tigers game to start. Hey, what do you say? Have a great day. You too, crazy clown. Hey, shout out to the Tigers cooking. Tigers continuing to cook. Shout out to the Tigers. Appreciate you hopping in, man. I wish Pascal could be great in pass rush. That'd be great. That'd be great if he was. That'd be great. Be a lot of help if he was, but he's not. I feel you on that though. I do. I like our D line, but I if he was great on pass rush, it'd be fantastic. He's a weird one too. Like you wonder about Pascal feels like he needs to cook. Like Pascal has to be as consistent as he can because he's not going to be a dominant rusher. Just be super consistent. That will decide if he gets an extension. Like, and that feels like where it's at. Like he just has to be so consistent. Or maybe he does add more as a rusher. He brings a little bit more than we've seen to this point. If he could do one of those two things, he could be in line for a really valuable extension as well. But so far, probably not. But he could be. It just wouldn't be that expensive, which again is nice. Like, not every extension has to be $25 million. I'm cool with that. A little 2-year, $8 million. Like, I'm down with that. All right, we gotta get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all joining. I will see y'all soon. Have a great weekend. Pacers are about to win the finals. That's outstanding. Tonight they play. I guess the Tigers play tonight too. I didn't know that. Go Tigers. We'll see you. Handle business. Keep winning. Who just got waived? Darion Kendrick just got waived. Oh, he missed last season for an ACL. That's unfortunate. Rocky Sim videos up. Ahmed Hassanin. Oh, I missed that comment, by the way. Someone was talking about Ahmed in the chat, and I missed it. Who was that? Hi, everyone. I like your broadcast. Watching you from Egypt. I'm the father of rookie. Oh, snap. Is that how they do? They put the last name like before the first name? Mahdi Hassanin. Shout out to Mahdi. Maddie. Shout out to Mahdi, man. I appreciate that, man. Egypt, is it warm there? That's not a good question. That's not a good question to ask. I assume that it's warm there. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of like Egypt when it's cold. You know what I mean? Like y'all ever seen that? Y'all ever seen a picture of Egypt? Like, oh man, look at that. Chilly night. Like, no, I've never seen a picture of Egypt at night. I've never seen a picture of it kind of cold. It's always hot. It's hot and it's sunny. I don't know. I don't know about it. Let me look it up. That actually is a good question. No, that's a good question. Let me see. Egypt weather. What are we talking about? Egypt. It's 83. All right, that's like right. Well, all right, that's kind of okay. 83. Oh, geez. Okay, actually, it is hot. No, it's hot. Oh my, yo, look at this. It's what? Hey, yo, this is what it is. This is Egypt weather, bro. Hot and hot and sunny, dog. 96, 93, 92, 92, 95, 95. Hey, 96, 96, and it's sunny. There's no rain at all. There's none. There's zero rain. Zero. Yo, that's got to be an issue. Like, I got to assume that's a problem. It's just hot and sunny. What is the best time between October and April during the cooler winter months? October and April. Got you. That's all it is, hot and sunny. There's not even nighttime in Egypt. It's just hot all the time. My goodness, man. Hey, they're probably used to the heat, though. Not that bad. They're probably used to the heat, though, man. They probably get used to that. Yo, it just messed up not having any rain, though, because the rain will cool it down for a little bit. Let me see what. Oh my gosh, are you in Arizona? Are you in Arizona? No, that's crazy. This doesn't even look right. This looks made up. 104? It's 5 o'clock. Wait, no, wait. It's 3 o'clock there. Okay. Like, yo, no, at 9 o'clock it's 102. It's a wrap, man. If it's yo, if it's midnight and it's 100 degrees, I don't know how you sleep in that. That's awful. That's so unfortunate. Oh my goodness. This is 111. No, bro. What up, D-Ray? Oh my gosh. No, this stuff's crazy, man. What is the coldest month? December. That makes sense. While temperatures can still average low temperatures. Okay, it's not really giving me a temperature there. Just saying December. Of our Egyptian lion. Yo, shout. Hopefully I'm saying the name right too. Is it Mahdi? That's dry heat though. There's been 100 and that's dry heat though. Been there and 100 felt like 80s. It's obviously hot. Oh, that's true. Okay. So there's no humidity, 5%. Yo, but look at Egypt though. 30%. 37%. 39. That's got to be high, right? Yo, so it's just like, is that a high humidity number? Humidity. 60%. Okay, so maybe it's not that high. 60% they're saying is high. Generally recommends that indoor humidity levels stay between 30 and 50%. So it's like indoors? Okay, maybe it's not that crazy high. Okay. Okay. Where is it where I'm at? Oh, it's 54% here. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I hate the humidity, by the way. Oh my goodness. I hate the humidity. You're right about that. When it gets sticky, it's whack. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true though. Okay. I'm glad we did that. That was good. I needed that. A little weather lesson on the way out. Shout out to my man here, Jonathan, as well. Jonathan Bills, assuming Bills fan. Appreciate you, Jonathan. I'll be tuning into the Bills stuff. I'll be keeping up with the Bills stuff. So I appreciate you jumping in. I'd rather live in Michigan than any other southern states. Cold is better. Especially like it's on these days. You're like, man, I get that. Just like a dry heat. Oh, okay. Wait, what is that? Hold up. Dry heat refers to hot weather conditions with low humidity, commonly found in desert climates. It can feel very hot. The low humidity allows sweat to evaporate quickly, which can make it initially feel more tolerable than humid heat. However, dry heat can also lead to faster dehydration due to increased fluid loss through evaporation. See, that's deep. I never even thought it was that deep, but that's deep. So you like dehydrated because there's no humidity. That's crazy. Anybody else know that? I didn't know that. Saigon, 3 showers a day. What is Saigon? Oh, Vietnam. Okay. It's 95% humidity there right now. 90 degrees. Yikes, dude. Oh, yeah, no, that's rough. That is rough. Jonathan, yeah. Jonathan Billingsley. Oh, no, that's not too bad. Billingsley. Okay. I thought that was going to be really difficult. I got that right. Billingsley. Jonathan Billingsley. Oh, because it's your last name. It's humid talk. My bad. My bad. Yeah, that made it awkward. I feel like thinking you were a Bills fan because it says Bills in your name. That makes sense. Jonathan Bills. Billingsley. Yeah. That's good. All right. It's been a rough streak. Oh my gosh. It actually says on the screen, by the way, excessive heat. It says it on the screen. Yo, whoever brought that place up is like, yo, it's hot. It says excessive heat. They got warnings. That's how much humidity means. And it's raining right now. Oh, wait, no, maybe. Wow. Excessive heat. Live in Wisconsin. I bought your kneecap soup shirt. Oh, when DC was first hired. Yo, have you sent me a picture of that? Kneecap soup. Yo, the Campbell soup. Come on, man. I can't say too much, but what I can say is this. We are in the process of putting together our roundtable. And I do want to give this shout out, this call to action. I'm bad at these, but I'm going to do one. We are building out our roundtable for this upcoming season, our Detroit Lions roundtable, which we'll see what all the benefits are. Sounds like there may be some really cool benefits that come along with it. But at very least, we're going to have content, and we got some dudes that y'all know that will be on the show as well. The show right here. Lions Roundtable. The plan is to launch in August. I won't tell you guys everything that the expectation is, but there's a lot of things that we're hoping to have come through this. But yeah, Lions Roundtable. This will be on YouTube. I think I'm not running the X page. I might be at some point, but I think somebody is. But yeah, that's gonna pop off. So we'll have that, and there could be some really cool events that tie along with that. But I can't say for certain. I hope so. There could be some really cool events that tie along with that just this upcoming year. So maybe I can even meet some of y'all through that as well. We'll see how that plays out. But especially with like who's in this, now that I'm thinking about it, this could be like a great opportunity for some training camp stuff. Like with who's behind, like who's potentially connected with this. When it comes to training camp, this could be perfect. So keep out for that. Keep an eye on the Lions Roundtable, which is in the works right now. But the launch point is expected to be August, but maybe it's before that. I mean, we could go earlier. It might be in July. I scheduled a tweet for the day after the Super Bowl saying the Lions win the Super Bowl. I didn't even know you could do that. You did? Hey, I appreciate it, man. I probably said something back. I probably didn't just ignore that. I just don't remember that well. I appreciate that. I know some people would send me their stuff. I couldn't even imagine a Halloween with palm trees or a Thanksgiving. Even imagine a Halloween with palm trees or a Thanksgiving. Yeah, that is kind of wild. This is facts. Yeah, this is like when it's kind of cold. Oh, I love that too. Oh, I love that too, man. When the leaves are falling, it's kind of cold. I love that. That's top tier. Top tier weather. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So I think as soon as training camp kicks off, like there's probably as soon as training camp kicks off that we will. And there's some really cool stuff that I got informed of a couple of days ago that we may be able to implement, which is pretty darn awesome. So and I'm glad that we're gonna get that group together. It's gonna be a pretty fire group. So and that's just starting. Like this is part of Roundtable Sports. We've had the NFC North Roundtable, which we do weekly. That'll come back as well. But they're trying to this year now expand to each team. So I had to kind of help build one, and that's the one that I put together. Well, it's one that I'm working on putting together. So that's our next roundtable to go along with the draft roundtable or the draft show that we did. Ben Johnson, why is he popping right now? Oh, Brad Holmes spoke on this? Oh, I didn't know this. Visionary Roar with the 2-piece. I appreciate it, man. Hey, yo. So I didn't know Brad Holmes spoke on this. Brad Holmes spoke on Ben Johnson going to Chicago.
Obviously there are multiple jobs that were open that cycle, and so I didn't really know that. Like I knew he had interviewed for Chicago, but he interviewed for a lot of the other positions too. So I really didn't know really which way it was going to go. I was thinking Chicago would have probably been the last destination but or I was probably hoping that probably, but no, I really didn't know that was happening till it actually till he accepted the job. And we had a little talk briefly before he left. I was happy for him, man. I mean, he is a hell
Hey, are y'all able to hear this?
of a coach, man. And he's they have a really good one up there. But yeah, it's just a little like, man, watch
He must.
you know
I guess that's trending right now. I guess that's a trending topic. Why Chicago? That's fair, man. Then the OTA stuff. Yeah, I don't need to go into that. All right. Anyways, I appreciate you, Visionary Roar. Thanks for the 2-piece. Everybody enjoy your weekend, and I will see you guys soon. We out. And also, again, always let me know. Hit me up on X, Instagram. If you guys have anything you want to see. It may happen, may not, but it may. And also, real quick, it would be great if y'all did this, man. If you don't follow me on Bleacher Report, follow me on Bleacher Report, man. Show them some love over there. Download the app. Follow me on Bleacher Report. I do content over there too. So y'all just follow. It tells them that you're showing love to that, which is good for me. I would assume. I don't know, but it's probably a good look. Like hey, people are checking out of stuff. So yeah, man. Joe Bleacher Report some love, man. They've done a lot of good for us. All right, we out of here though. I'm out.